The Genesis Communications Radio Network proudly presents The Alex Jones Show, because there's a war on for your mind.
Tonight, even though the Democrats took control of Congress today, some on the far left are not happy. When Democratic Congressman Rahm Emanuel tried to give a speech yesterday, here's what happened.
At every step of the, at every all right. All right, we're going to keep going here. We're going to have a... Thank you.
Bill Emanuel could not get his remarks out. Joining us from Washington, Sunsara Taylor, prominent member of the far-left group, The World Can't Wait. Why some members of your group were in that mob?
We're going to play a little bit of this later. A few days ago, I played it and broke down all the lies. But first, he says the group has 50 members. That's not true. It's one of the biggest groups in the country. They've got millions of people with the help of other groups out on the streets. This group's organized rallies here in Austin with thousands and thousands. And so O'Reilly says they're a minority, they're far left, she's crazy, she's a kook, that the majority of Americans are pro-war. I've got polls as high as 82% against the war. Most of them are in the high 70s. Most conservatives are against it. All libertarians are against it. Almost every Democrat I know, unless it's Hillary Clinton or Chucky Schumer. All Democrats are against it, unless you're talking about the Democratic Party, who run things. It's unbelievable. And I played that little 7-minute interview a few days ago, I guess back on Monday, because it illustrated how these people operate. It illustrated, O'Reilly has no information. He just says, you're a minority, you're a kook, you're marginalized, you're a liar, it's your opinion that torture's going on. It's unbelievable. But I don't just have her here. I think she did the best job I've ever seen with O'Reilly. I don't just have her here to talk about the O'Reilly thing, because that was mainly like a classroom example of their lies and propaganda. I have her on because I want to talk about how they shut down the Democrats, how they're trying to force the Democrats to try to end this war, which all the CIA analysts have said our troops there make it worse for everybody, including our troops. I want to get her take on how they got into the meeting, how they shut down the Democrats, and what she thinks and her group thinks of the horrible speech last night of the neocon president-in-chief. And her name is Sunsara Taylor, and I really appreciate her coming on. And she's got a long bio. We got a link to it up on Infowars.com. Sunsara, thanks for coming on.
Hi, great to be with you, Alex. Thanks for having me.
You bet. You're such a fit. There's only 50 in your group. I mean, you're just pathetic, aren't you?
Well, that's what, obviously, you're quoting Bill O'Reilly. Yeah, we had, World Can't Wait, the full name is World Can't Wait Drive Out the Bush Regime. And we represent the sentiments of literally millions of people in this country and millions around the world. And so, but part of the thing that we're trying to speak to and deal with is the fact that people in government everybody is going along with what the Bush regime is doing. The Democratic Party, it's towing the line. It makes a few petty amendments and some, symbolic protests here and there, but it's all within the terms and the logic that the Bush administration has set, and it always folds at the end when it matters most. This is how we saw the Military Commissions Act legalize torture and rip up habeas corpus. This is how we saw the Patriot Act 1 and 2 get passed. This is how we saw the Supreme Court's Roberts and Alito get approved. We just over and over and over again, the Bush administration gets caught spying, the illegal warrantless wiretapping, the NSA spying, they get caught spying. You hear a little bit of protest from the Democrats, and then they get, quote, reasonable, and then they go along. And over again, we've seen this play out. And the World Can't Wait, our mission is to say, okay, look, we are the majority. There are millions of us. History is not going to judge us based on what the Democratic Party did or failed to do, or on whether Bush listened to us or failed to listen to us. They're going to judge us by whether or not we went along with war crimes, what objectively are war crimes and crimes against humanity being committed in the war on Iraq, and a whole fascistic remaking of U.S. society, and that there are enough of us that if we dare to act on our own, independent political action, out protest in the streets, being heard by the people of the world, if we dare to do that, we can change history. But if we're passive, then we're going to be judged very sharply, because there is a point at which it becomes too late.
Well, I mean, you're not just using those as flowery, verbiage that fascistic society. I mean, the most popular TV show, they torture children almost every episode. In real life, one of the top lawyers in the White House writes memos saying they can crush children's body parts.
Yeah, John, you're talking about. That's very important. I want to actually.
Yeah, these people are sick. I mean, this isn't a game. Halliburton and DynCorp are in major newspapers running giant slave rings. I mean, you cannot make this type of stuff up, folks. This is so crazy that I have trouble believing it, even when it's admitted, and it just gets worse and worse and worse. But let's go back to the Democrats just briefly here. Democrats plan to fight expansion of troops. Well, now notice, see, that's why Bush said more troops. That way the Democrats get to act like they're fighting something, but they don't want to reduce troops, so he increases troops, and now they fight him on an increase. That is total smoke and mirrors, and now they're going to have a symbolic vote saying they don't like how he's handled the war, but we're going to support the troops, the Democrats say, by keeping them there. I mean, if a child's in a house burning, you don't support the child by leaving them in the burning house. I mean, the Democrats were sent to Congress overwhelmingly because the people want this war to end. That's number one. And number two, because they don't like the Patriot Act, they don't like the Military Commissions Act, they don't like the Defense Authorization Act that makes Bush a dictator over the governors. And what do? They come in with the 9/11 Commission recommendations for an even bigger police state. They come in and they, how mad are Democrats you're talking to?
How mad?
I mean, are Democrats on the ground, constituents, are they seeing through this?
The little d Democrats. People are fed up. I think people are really fed up. But here's the challenge. Is I think that, in a situation as dire as this is, there are two things operating with people. I'm saying now broadly, millions of people. There is a desire to deny how bad it is, and the mass media will help them with that every day. And there's a question of whether or not they can really affect things, and the two interpenetrate because they say, oh, we voted and it hasn't made any difference, and they watch this war now escalate in the face of that. And I think the challenge is to really to speak to those people in your audience, and them going out and speaking to others and saying, look, this is on us. No more waiting. And this is what worldcan'twait.org is about. People are going there. We're going to be out in the streets all across the country today protesting this.
You get tens of millions of visitors.
Not tens of millions. We need tens of millions of visitors. We get, I don't know how many visitors we get, actually.
I don't think you've looked into that. No, I've seen the ratings of the site. It's quite high. And it's duplicated all over the web. I constantly get World Can't Wait bulletins every 5 minutes.
Oh, that's great. But people should go out in the streets today. There are protests at military recruiting installations all over the country, in cities all over the country. And if there's not
we've had our listeners tell us that then recruiters come out and threaten them and try to start fights with them, but they put video cameras on the cockroaches and they scurry away.
Yeah, but I think one of the things in the Iraq study group, and you're right about the smoke and mirrors about the Democrats. We're in a situation where the only just solution is an immediate withdrawal. This war was based on lies. It's an unjust, immoral, illegitimate war.
Well, they meant to get us into a quagmire. That's the excuse. That's why they want a civil war, as an excuse to stay and build the bases.
Well, they're going to be there, and now they're positioning for a war against Iran, for an escalation. This is the whole premise of this is rotten. The whole premise of a war on terror, which was planned long before 9/11, and
they lie. They lie to the conservatives in this country and tell them, oh, we were in there to turn the lights on and get Saddam out, when the whole time they were going to build permanent bases and use it to attack Iran in their own policy reports. And these neocon listeners still buy the lie. I don't know why they're so stupid.
Well, you're